You know what used to happen to me every single July? I'd walk out to my garden, the one I'd worked so hard on in spring, and it would look completely dead. Everything that bloomed in May and June was done, and there was nothing, just green leaves baking in the sun, waiting for fall. I'd spent good money, real time, and serious effort, and my garden had a 3-week peak and then months of nothing. My wife would walk past it and just sigh. That silence was worse than any criticism. I spent the next 2 seasons doing nothing but testing perennials, specifically ones that could handle our brutal summer sun and keep producing color from June all the way to frost. I failed with plenty of them, but the ones that worked, they completely changed everything. I'm going to give you the 10 best full sun perennials for nonstop summer bloom, and I'm saving the absolute best for last. Number 3 from the end is one that I've never seen fail, not once, not in any conditions. Let's start at number 10. Number 10, Gaillardia. Gaillardia, blanket flower, looks like someone designed it specifically to survive punishment. It blooms in fiery reds, oranges, and yellows from early summer all the way through fall, and it does it in heat, drought, and poor soil that would stop most plants cold. The name blanket flower comes from the way it covers itself and blooms. Almost no foliage visible once it hits its stride. I planted Gaillardia in a raised bed that gets 8 or 9 hours of direct sun every day, and the soil is more sand than anything else. It doesn't care. It just blooms. Deadhead spent flowers every week or two, and production stays strong all season. It's short-lived as perennials go, usually 3 or 4 years. But it self-seeds freely, so the colony tends to renew itself without you doing anything. It's also one of the best plants you can grow for attracting butterflies. Number 9, Agastache. Agastache, hummingbird mint, is a plant that I genuinely didn't expect to love as much as I do. It produces tall spikes of tubular flowers in shades of orange, pink, purple, and rose from midsummer through fall, and hummingbirds treat it like a fast food drive-through. I've counted 6 hummingbirds at one time working a single large clump of Agastache in my backyard. Beyond the wildlife value, it's an incredibly heat and drought-tolerant plant that thrives in full sun and well-drained soil. The foliage is fragrant, a mix of licorice and mint, which deer and most insects find repellent. Once established, it needs almost no irrigation even in dry summers. Cut it back in early spring and it returns vigorous and full. Certain varieties are more cold-hardy than others, so check your zone before buying. But for zones 5 through 9, there are excellent options. Number 8, penstemon. Penstemon is one of the most underused perennials in American gardens, and I think it's because people don't know about it. It's native to North America. It's adapted to handle dry, rocky, full sun conditions, and it blooms in long spikes of tubular flowers that hummingbirds are absolutely addicted to. The colors range from white and pink to deep red and purple depending on the variety. I grow Penstemon digitalis, Husker Red, which has striking dark burgundy foliage and white flowers. And it's been one of the most striking plants in my sunny border for 4 years running. It starts blooming in late spring and continues well into summer. After the main bloom, cut the flower stalks back and the foliage remains attractive for the rest of the season. It tolerates drought, poor soil, and neglect better than almost anything else I've tried. Number 7, Kniphofia. Red hot poker. Kniphofia is one of those plants that looks like it belongs somewhere exotic, but it's actually tougher than it appears. It produces dramatic torches of orange, yellow, and red flowers on tall architectural spikes from midsummer into fall. In a garden full of round, soft shapes, the vertical exclamation points of red-hot poker create real drama. I planted a clump at the corner of my vegetable garden to serve as both a landmark and a hummingbird station, and it's become one of the things I look forward to most every summer. Full sun and well-drained soil are essential. It will rot in wet, heavy clay. But if you can give it those conditions, it's surprisingly low maintenance. Divide it every 3 or 4 years to keep it vigorous, and mulch the crowns lightly in zones where winters are harsh. Number 6, Veronicastrum. If you've never grown Veronicastrum, Culver's root, you're missing one of the best architectural perennials available. It sends up tall, candelabra-like spikes of tiny white or pale lavender flowers from midsummer into early fall, and it does this in full sun with minimal care. It can reach 5 or 6 feet tall in good conditions, which makes it a natural backdrop plant or a focal point in a large perennial border. Unlike a lot of tall plants, it almost never needs staking. The stems are strong and upright on their own. It's a native plant, which means it plays beautifully with the local ecosystem, attracting a wide range of native bees and butterflies. I have it growing behind my coneflowers and black-eyed Susans, and the layered effect, short in front, medium in middle, tall in back, looks like something out of a garden design magazine. Now, I want to stop here for a second, because the next 5 plants on this list are the ones that have made the biggest visible difference on my property. Neighbors who drive by regularly have actually stopped to ask me what I changed, because the color and the life in these beds from June to October is something that really stands out. Number 3 especially, I'm telling you right now, if you only plant one thing from this entire video, that's the one. Keep watching. Number 5, Liatris. Liatris, blazing star, is a native prairie perennial that blooms in a way most people have never seen before, from the top of the spike down. While most spike flowers open bottom to top, Liatris does the opposite, which gives it this distinctive, almost otherworldly look. The flowers are bright magenta purple. The stems are tall and upright, and butterflies, especially monarchs, are completely obsessed with it. I grow Liatris in a dry, sunny strip between my driveway and the street where I can barely get irrigation, and it thrives there every summer without complaint. It blooms from mid to late summer and holds its color for weeks. After bloom, the seed heads feed goldfinches through fall. Plant it from corms in spring, May is ideal, and you'll have flowers the first year in most cases. It's one of the easiest and most rewarding plants I've ever put in the ground. Number 4, Rudbeckia fulgida. I know I mentioned black-eyed Susans in another context, but Rudbeckia fulgida, specifically the variety Goldsturm, deserves its own spotlight here, because it is one of the longest blooming, most reliable full-sun perennials available anywhere. It starts flowering in late June and keeps going until hard frost in October. That's often 4 full months of golden yellow blooms. It forms compact, tidy clumps that look good even when not in bloom. It spreads gradually to fill space without becoming invasive, and it's completely unfazed by heat, humidity, and drought. I have a mass planting of Goldsturm along my back fence that I started from just 6 plants 4 years ago. It's now a solid 10-foot sweep of gold every summer, and I've done essentially nothing to it beyond cutting it back in spring. It's one of the most dependable plants in my entire garden. Number 3. Echinacea purpura, purple coneflower. Echinacea purpura is the single most reliable, most beautiful, most ecologically valuable full-sun perennial I have ever grown. It blooms from early summer through fall. It returns bigger every single year. It tolerates drought, poor soil, heat, and humidity. It feeds bees and butterflies during bloom and goldfinches all winter through the seed heads. The flowers are large, cheerful, and long-lasting on the plant and as cut flowers. In 4 years of growing it, I have never lost a plant to disease, pests, or weather. I've had coneflowers survive ice storms, a drought that cracked the soil, and summers where I barely looked at them. They just bloom every single year. The modern hybrid varieties have expanded the color range dramatically. You can now get coneflowers in white, orange, yellow, red, and magenta. But the classic purple remains the most vigorous and the most valuable for wildlife. If you are planting one perennial this May, make it this one. Number 2, daylily. The reblooming daylily varieties, Stella de Oro, Happy Returns, and Rosy Returns among others, are essentially flowering machines for full sun gardens. Unlike the old-fashioned daylilies that bloom once and finish, these modern reblooming types flower in waves from early summer all the way to frost. Stella de Oro was the first big rebloomer to hit the market, and it's still one of the best. Compact, golden yellow, and virtually non-stop from June to October. I edge entire sections of my property with reblooming daylilies because they require no deadheading, no special fertilizing, and no real care beyond an occasional division every 4 or 5 years. They multiply, they spread, they fill in bare spots, and they bloom. In full sun with average soil, they're essentially automatic. I genuinely cannot think of an easier plant to grow. Number 1. Salvia nemorosa. If I had to name the single most underrated perennial for full sun nonstop bloom, it would be Salvia nemorosa, specifically varieties like Caradonna, Maynite, and East Friesland. These plants bloom from late spring into summer, and if you cut them back after the first flush, they rebloom in late summer and fall, giving you color across essentially the entire growing season. The spikes of deep violet blue are vivid, architectural, and absolutely irresistible to bees and hummingbirds. They're drought-tolerant, heat-tolerant, deer-resistant, and incredibly long-lived. I have salvias that have been in my garden for 6 years without ever being divided or replaced. They just get better each season. They work in formal borders and cottage gardens alike. They combine beautifully with almost any color, and they are one of the few plants that genuinely earn the label low maintenance, high impact. Plant May Night Salvia this season, and you'll wonder how you ever gardened without it. 10 plants, 1 mission. Color from June to frost without babying them all summer. That's what perennial gardening is supposed to feel like. You put in the work once, you plant smart, and the garden rewards you for years. These 10 plants have done exactly that for me, and they'll do the same for you. Drop a comment below with your growing zone and tell me which one you're most excited to try. I genuinely want to know, and I'll answer every question I can. Subscribe if you want more real talk about what actually works on a homestead garden, because that's all we do here.